U.S. Central Command demonstrated continuous 24/7 operations against Iran-backed Houthis from USS Carl Vinson and USS Harry S, Truman. The USS Carl Vinson, which is armed with F-35C stealth warplanes, is now working alongside the USS Harry S, Truman in the region, U.S. Central Command said. The Pentagon announced recently that it was increasing the number of American carriers in the Middle East to 2, after launching the latest round of its air campaign against the Iran-backed Houthis in March in a bid to end the threat they pose to civilian shipping and military vessels in the region. Despite the strikes, the Houthis, who control large swathes of Yemen and have been at war with a Saudi-led coalition backing the internationally recognized government since 2015, have continued to claim attacks against both U.S. vessels and Israel. Houthi attacks have prevented ships from passing through the Suez Canal, a vital route that normally carries about 12% of the world's shipping traffic, forcing many companies into a costly detour around the tip of southern Africa. The United States first began conducting strikes against the Houthis under the Biden administration, and President Donald Trump vowed last week that military action against the rebels would continue until they are no longer a threat to shipping. Militants in Kashmir killed at least 26 tourists and injured many others in the worst assault on civilians in the Indian-administered territory in years, which India has called a terrorist attack. India has not officially blamed any group for the shooting, which took place near the town of Pahalgam in the picturesque Bizaran Valley. But it took a series of punitive actions against its neighbor Pakistan. The Indian government has decided to immediately stop issuing visas to Pakistani citizens from April 27 and cancel visas already issued. This information was released by the Indian Ministry of External Affairs. The statement said that in continuation of the decisions taken by the Cabinet Committee on Security after the Pahalgam terror attack, the Indian government has decided to immediately suspend the issuance of visas to Pakistani citizens. Following these decisions, Pakistan's Security Council, which met urgently, called India's steps regarding the terrorist attack in Kashmir unjust and politically motivated. According to the Council's statement, Pakistan will consider India's attempt to change the flow of the Indus River as an act of war. At the same time, Pakistan suspended all bilateral agreements with India and closed its airspace to India. Recall that on April 22, gunmen opened fire on tourists in the popular tourist town of Pahalgam. 25 Indian citizens and 1 Nepali citizen were killed, and many others were injured. The attackers managed to escape. According to the Indian newspaper The Times of India, citing Indian intelligence sources, the attack on civilians in Pahalgam was carried out by militants from the Resistance Front, the subversive wing of the Pakistan-based radical group Lashkar-e-Taiba. Following this, the Indian authorities almost halved the staff of their embassy in Islamabad, declared the military advisors of the Pakistani diplomatic mission in India persona non grata, and closed the main Attari border crossing with Pakistan. In addition, New Delhi suspended an agreement with Islamabad on the sharing of water resources. Pakistan's Security Council said that there is evidence that India is providing financial support to terrorism in Pakistan. Pakistan has closed its airspace to India. The reason and details of the decision have not yet been disclosed. Kashmir, a scenic and ethnically diverse valley in the Himalayan mountains, has been racked by violence for generations. Its fate was left undecided in 1947, when the British divided India, its former colony, into 2 countries. One was Pakistan, which has a Muslim majority. The other, made up mostly of Hindus, retained the name India. Since war last broke out in 1999, Kashmir has remained one of the world's most militarized regions. China's three-person Shenzhou 20 mission launched from Jiuquan, on the edge of the Gobi Desert in northwestern China, on Thursday, as part of the country's growing exploration of space. According to Associated Press, astronauts Chen Dong, Chen Zhongrui, and Wang Jie will replace the three astronauts currently on the Chinese space station. Like those before them, they will stay there for roughly 6 months. The three-person crew were sent in October last year and have been in space for 175 days. Chen Dong, who previously served on the Shenzhou 11 and Shenzhou 14 missions, is the group leader, while his two crewmates are making their first trips to space. Chen Zhongrui was an Air Force pilot and Wang Jie, an engineer with the China Aerospace Science and Technology Corporation. Chen Dong led construction of the space station during the Shenzhou 14 mission. While in space, the astronauts will carry out experiments in space medicine and space technology, perform extravehicular trips, and make improvements to the space station. China built its own space station after it was excluded from the International Space Station owing to U.S. national security concerns over the control of the country's space program by the People's Liberation Army, the military branch of the ruling Communist Party. China's space program has grown rapidly in recent years. The space agency has landed an explorer on Mars and a rover on the far side of the Moon. It aims to put a person on the Moon before 2030. The returning astronauts are expected to land on April 29th.
1分钟准备。50秒。50秒。40秒。40秒。30秒。30秒。20秒。20秒。10、9、8、7、6、5、4、3、2、1，点火。起飞，70，摇拐10，摇拐分31秒，441毫秒。70，摇拐10，摇拐分31秒，441毫秒。9全程序转弯。程序转弯。9全光学跟踪正常。青山 USB 雷达跟踪正常，遥测信号正常。
双城光学雷达跟踪正常。
东风光学 USB 雷达跟踪正常，遥测信号正常，东风飞行正常。